All right, what's going on, everybody? Give me just a second here. Gonna get the audio set up for the voice recording part. And I think we're good to go. What's going on? Oh, hair is extra moppy today. Yeah, I just woke up from a nap, which was really nice. Made for a very nice weekend day. How is everyone doing today? We had perfect napping weather here in Chicago. It's a little bit chilly and a little bit rainy and a little bit overcast, so perfect napping weather. Yo, what's going on? Stevie76, good to see you. Curtis Lost, good to hear you. Luis Becerra says, Saludos, Kofuzi y todos. What's going on, man? Hope everyone's doing well. Um, all right. Hope everyone is doing okay today. Stevie says, during my run this morning, I yelled at a bunch of runners going on their usual Saturday morning group run. Ooh, they're running closely together like everything's normal. Bunch of idiots. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone yelling at other runners yet, or even pedestrians yelling at other runners, but I've heard of that kind of thing happening. Um, yeah, but I mean, that's definitely the right call, Stevie. You're in the right. But like, I don't know. I think maybe it's because I'm in Chicago. I feel a little bit scared about yelling at people. I've got yelled at before though. Like with all these changes happening and stuff. I was running along the bike lanes because that's where I've been doing most of my running. I feel like the sidewalk, there's pedestrians, or there might be someone coming out of like a building or out of a store or around a corner, and I don't want to like surprise anyone or accidentally be like real right on top of anybody. And so I've been running in the bike lane because I feel like that gives me plenty of room away from any possible pedestrians. And that's where like normally cars should be anticipating that something that is not a car is going to be. And then the other day, there was a guy on a bike that was yelling at me, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a lot safer to be out in the bike lane." Um, and he was grumpy. I think that he had to share his bike lane with me because then he had to go out a little bit further from me, and then there was like a car like kind of in our area too. So I think he was really annoyed about that. I mean, I wasn't that happy about being in the bike lane, but there's also a pedestrian there at the time as well. So it's like we all got to share. The guy was grumpy and presumably or presumptively making a safety argument, arguing that it's not safer for me to be in the sidewalk. But it's hard really to take a safety argument seriously from a guy riding a bike with no helmet on. So that's kind of how I felt about it. But I understand where he's coming from. He's frustrated. He doesn't want to have to share his stuff. He feels displaced as well. So that's what's kind of going on. But I do wish that like a lot of people would be more mindful of what's going on. I've seen in Chicago too, like some people like still not getting together for like their group run, but like a couple of people that I don't think that they live together, but I've seen them together a lot of times in like their Instagram photos and stuff, and they'll like run at the same time, kind of thing, by themselves. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna call anyone out on it. You got to do your thing, but it doesn't make me feel comfortable. That's for sure. Um, yeah. So Blaz Grabnar says, "What's up?" Uh, Geeky1216 says, "Hello from LA. What's going on over there? It is 1:16 where you are. No, it is 1 o'clock where you are. It's about 3 o'clock here on Saturday." John Bryan says, "Any interest with the NFL draft?" I would say no because I don't really watch college football, and so I don't know who's like coming. So I don't know like what the draft really means. I grew up in New Jersey, and New Jersey doesn't really have a good like state like college football isn't like a big thing in New Jersey. At least it certainly wasn't for me. Rutgers is our state school, and so like Rutgers has never really been like a powerhouse. And now that they're in the Big Ten, it's kind of really weird for them. I think they're in the Big Ten right now, right? Yeah, it's really weird. And so like I never really grew. I don't think I watched like a single college football game growing up. I didn't really watch a lot of football growing up either. I didn't really start watching football till I moved to the Midwest. And then Midwest, like in St. Louis, where I lived for a while, football in general is just like a whole different thing that I had never experienced like on a similar level to that before. So that was like something totally new. Now, lots of people grew up having completely different experiences. Like, like if you watch like Gary Vee or something like that, he grew up, we're about the same age. And I think he might be a little bit older than me, but like, he grew up like a diehard Jets fan and stuff. So there's definitely people that grew up differently. Um, I grew up watching the Jets, I mean, the Giants, but But like, football wasn't a huge thing. So like the draft is interesting to me in that they're doing it remotely, and it's basically like it feels like a giant televised like fantasy draft at this point, and I think it's really funny in that regard. But other than that, I haven't really been following it too close. Edgar Buezo says hello from East Harlem, NYC. What's good? What's going on, Edgar? Hopefully everything's going okay over there. I know you guys are getting hit hard with everything. Guido Moti says, hey, Kay, Guido from Milan, Italy. What's up? Awesome, Guido. Good to see you again. Daniel M from ATX in here. Awesome. Luis Cicero. Oops, hi everyone. Forgot to write in English. We understood you, man. We understood what you were saying. Let's see. It's Diso Hala. Yo, yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's Diso. And Carl Donaldson says, enjoying the live streams when foam rolling in the UK. Keep them coming. Yeah, I mean, that's like people have told me that they're like foam rolling or they're waiting to foam roll or doing their stretches while they listen to these. And I think that's a great way to do it. It kind of like ties into like what my goals are for the channel and for what my goals are for these live streams is just for it to like simulate kind of that experience of like I'm just another guy that's in your run club and that happens to have the shoes that you were interested in, that kind of thing, or happens to have tried the training technique that you've been reading about and you have a question, and just want to like trade notes, that kind of thing. And like one of the things that I particularly enjoyed training with the Nike team last summer was we would meet every Thursday to do our workouts there, and then over at near Edge Athlete Lounge, and then afterwards there'd be smoothie time. So there'd be smoothies and people just hanging out, like foam rolling, stretching, getting ready to start the day with that kind of thing. But like those kind of conversations, it was just really fun, a great place for camaraderie and connecting. And so I really enjoyed that. So I'm kind of hoping to emulate that kind of thing here. Um, let's see, we got Eric Sisk saying, yo, what's going on? Thanks for the motivation video today. No problem. Nice to know you're not the only one feeling that way. Man, Eric, I think everyone's feeling that way. It's been a question that pops up like at least every live stream, like the last 3 or 4 days in a row. And so I was like, this is a thing. I think we're all at that common like communal like fatigue point of like, you know, this was something we got to like batten down the hatches and like kind of like hunker down, but now it's like, oh, it's a long hunker down, so like we got to like figure out like, all right, change modes. And I think a lot of people, including myself, are having a hard time kind of adjusting to that. But yeah, man, you're not alone for sure. Louis says today ran 9 miles, and if he saw someone, he ran in the middle of the road. Yeah, I mean that's a big reason why I've been going so early in the morning, is so I can do that because there aren't that many cars out. Since I started running before 6 o'clock in the morning, I might see other people. There's one guy that he runs every day that early, and he always runs the up. I run like in a clockwise direction. He's been running in like a clockwise or a counterclockwise direction. I see him every day, and then I'll hop out real far. He usually runs down in the bike lane as well, and then so he'll jump on the sidewalk, and I'll move out into the middle of the street. I see him every day. Other than that, I might see other people like in the corners, like over there, kind of going perpendicular to them. And so that's about it. But it's been pretty quiet. But when I do see other people, I try to give as wide a berth as I can. Um, Daniel M. So Kofuzi is lawyering the biker. Yeah, I mean, yeah, lawyered. William Thompson's coming in from Northern Ireland. How's it going? How are you? Sarah HC9 says hello from sunny San Diego. Yeah, whenever it rains like this, I'm like, I wonder what napping weather is like in San Diego, because everything else weather in San Diego is so nice. But like, do you guys get good napping weather down there? I'm trying to think. I've been there a couple of times. I love it down there. I don't think I've had good naps there, so I think napping weather is different. It's just kind of like when the air conditioning's like extra cool, and you just got a nice breeze coming in, and that might be kind of the thing. Arthava Atharva Ugale says, hi, Kofuzi. It is bothering to see the number of COVID cases in the US. Please stay safe, and I appreciate your commitment to keep us entertained through these hard times. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got a lot here, and we're at a real weird point. We're at a very strange point here. Um, I hope that things go really well over the next 2 weeks, but it's going to be a strange next 2 weeks here in the United States, so we'll see. Dave Sinclair says, bear down from the UK. I'll have to see the Chicago support up there. It's strange to me, like to see like the NFL's like expansion efforts into England. Um, it's just it's a very strange concept for me to try to wrap my head around. So like I know like the games over there have like taken on a very soccer like feel. Um, and I get the sense that a lot of the fans there are like people that lived in the US or Americans that are there watching, but there's so many people that go to those games. It's got to be more than that. So it's interesting to see that there are fans over there. Denmaji Brown says Peg 37 looks worth a buy. I would say for sure it is. My mom's here. Hi, Mom. Hopefully you're doing well. Luis Becerra says the gear looks good, Kofuzi. Yeah, I just put it out there on my Instagram story. There's new merch available. I've been working with Teespring. It's been frustrating. I don't like working with Teespring. But what I want to ultimately do is have that like they call it the merch shelf, like that the so you could see the gear right underneath the videos before you get to the comments. That's still not quite there yet, but the gear that I'm going to make is available for purchase if you guys want to go check it out. Please don't feel obligated, like you need to do that to support me or anything. If you want to have some of those things, I think that's great. I've ordered a whole bunch of it. It's print on demand and it goes like in bursts, so it doesn't always get there the fastest. So you need some lead time. I ordered mine like 4 or 5 days ago, and hopefully I get it soon. I was gonna wait before I like kind of like launched the store. But Teespring reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we're pushing to have a big sale on this weekend, so like it'll be 10% off." I suspect that things are gonna look pretty close to what the renderings look like. I've also bought from a lot of other YouTube creators, so I kind of have an idea of like what the quality is going to be. So the only question I have is that I did a lot of like dark gray on black or black on black, so we'll see how well that turned out. But hopefully it turns out well. So we'll see. But I wanted to make sure you guys could get that 10% off if you guys wanted to jump on that for the first weekend. Uh, Verg NetP says hello from London. Hey, how's it going? Gekale1216 says ran 5 miles after seeing the motivation video. LOL. Indoor on the treadmill only. It's 87 degrees out there where he is. Oh wow, it's hot. But glad you got the 5 in for today. I really wanted to run today, but the forecast is so frustrating. The forecast called for cold rain. And that's like my kryptonite. Like when it's like 40 degrees out and rainy, that like for me is like an instant recipe for me to catch a cold or just be exhausted for like 2 days straight. And so I was going to avoid it, and so I hit the bike, and then the bike was frustrating because I had some technical issues with Zwift. And so I rode for about an hour and a half, and then the entire hour and a half that I rode, it didn't rain at all here in Chicago. And then I did the live stream, and then I walked the dog, and I was like, oh, it's still not raining. Maybe we're going to dodge the rain. And so as I was about to start changing into my running clothes and getting maybe another hour of running, it started to rain. And I was like, oh, darn it, I missed my chance. So I'm glad you got your miles in. I wish I could have got some running miles in, but I got some biking in and I did some leg strengthening exercises, some flexibility stuff. So I think I'll be okay. Nero Homer says, hi from Scarborough, UK. Good to see you. Hyde Mass. That's a funny name. You made me say it. You got me. Hey, have you quit math? From Max. No, I haven't. And so now, I mean, like, there's kind of like two answers to that. One is I think during training, I like to do like kind of like a mix of Jack Daniels and Matt Fitzgerald's 80-20, so polarized training, where 80% is very easy and 20% is very hard. The easy is defined, and I don't know if it still counts as math or not. I don't care. I'm not like a purist. I'll use it how it works for me. And so for that 80% or even 90% of the easy, I'll run it at my max heart rate or lower. And all recovery paces are at max heart rate or lower. And then the 10% will be whatever it needs to be, whether it's tempo or there's even faster than that, like sprint intervals. But when I'm in like off season, like now, I'll probably do, more than 90% of my running at max heart rate. And then right now, since there's like nothing to like train for, it's like the offest of the off seasons. I'm just going to run for fun. So if I feel like going out and running a fartlek, I'll go run fartlek. If I feel like going out and running some fast miles, doing a time trial, which I haven't felt like doing any time trials, but if I do, I will. So that's kind of my view on it. Dave Reno says, hey, from Germany, bought the New Balance Beacon 2 because of the review. I hope you like it. That does look like a smiley face. So hopefully that means you enjoy them. It always still makes me nervous when people are like, I bought it because of you. Because it could be menacing. It could be like I bought it because of you and it messed up my foot. That's what I'm always worried about. Duck Boy says multitasking is a must. Often foam roll and watch the videos. Awesome. That's also cool. Um, John Bryant says thanks, Kofuzi, for sharing some football history. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I thought a while ago about making a podcast, I thought about like how does someone who is like does videos on YouTube, what is the podcast that that person makes, And I'm not like a shoe industry insider like Thomas is, right? So like his podcast is talking about shoes in even more detail and his and interviewing people in the shoe industry. So that all makes sense and that lines up perfectly with like his brand and what they're doing. But for me to do a podcast, I like to think that I'm more like running stories, visual stories as well. And so like, yeah, there's some training talk. Yeah, there's some like shoe talk, but like what does the podcast look like? And for me, a lot of that was going to be like, if it's going to be a completely non-visual um, medium, it should be about stories that are not visual. And so like, I like kind of delving into like history and going back to a time before there were camera phones on everything. And so like that's why I kind of like anytime I see like daylight and I see like an avenue to talk about like something from like 10, 20 years ago, that's kind of where I've been going. That's just give you a little hint of like what I keep in the back of my mind as I have these live streams. But also, it helps me to learn about you guys and helps you guys to learn a little bit more backstory about me in a way that really, it'd be really awkward to tell people like, I never really watched college football growing up because I lived in New Jersey and New Jersey doesn't have like a big state school. It does have a big state school, but like state school sports aren't huge there. Then I don't know where that fits in like a running YouTube video, but in the podcast and live stream, I think it feels great. Gaykill 6, 12, 16, sorry, Gaykill 1216 says also foam rolling and watching the live stream. Awesome. Mark Chang Coco says, what's a good rest day slow pace shoe that's currently in my rotation? I'd say I've been running in the Freedom 3. I think that's a good rest day slow pace shoe. Most people think that it should be used a little bit faster paces. I'll try it out for both, but I'm like not always convinced that it's a fast pace shoe. Um, but the Glycerin is 18 is a great fast, slow pace shoe that's in my rotation. The Ultra Boost 20 just got out of my rotation, but I like that one much more than I thought I would. So I like that one as well. Other shoes that I've run in recently are the Kinvara 11, which I also liked for that. Plenty of cushion. Triumph 17, 1080 V10. Those are shoes I don't really run in anymore, but those are ones that I think about when you ask that. Neil Camp says, do I foam roll after every run? I don't. I very rarely foam roll personally. Carlos FG21 says, "Hey Kofuzi, any update on the Nike ban?" Yeah, for me, I think that like it's a weird world now, and so I'm going to clear the slates. I think from a personal perspective, I'm not going to hold grudges, or I'm just going to hope that everyone behaves moving forward and treat it that way. That's what I'm thinking. Terrence Hui says, just switched to my laptop to phone roll along with the live stream, as per the mention. Cool, awesome. Duck Boy says, during these times, I would teleconference in for a meeting and running. Really? Do you run during the teleconference? Like I've seen, I saw a meme going or like an image going around on Twitter from some of my like non-Twitter accounts non-running Twitter accounts that I follow, and they were like, WTF this guy who's running during our Zoom meeting today. And there was like a guy like running, and I'm like, oh, if I had a home treadmill, I totally would do that. Especially if it's a Zoom meeting that like, if I was there for like class, like if I was a student and like I was just listening to a lecture and they wanted to see me there for Zoom for like attendance purposes, I would totally do that. Listen in. It'd be like listening to an audiobook. I would love to do that. I don't know. That should be like a thing. That should totally be like a thing. Like there used to be this document, these series of PBS things that I used to watch in college, and I loved them. In terms of history, I'm fascinated with the Roman Empire, and one day in college, there was just like on the college like closed circuit channel, it would I don't know what it would ever show. It would just show Braveheart over and over again. It did that for a long time. I don't know why it did that, but I just felt like they were like, we could show whatever we want. Let's just play Braveheart on repeat. But when they weren't doing that, they would sometimes play these lectures from a professor at UCLA on Roman history. And I would just watch those on hours at a time. And sometimes they would splice in, most of the time it was just this guy talking. But sometimes they would splice in images and artwork that depict some of the events he was talking about. But I just love listening to that. And like maybe I bet that there's a thing. But I would love to like learn more about like just complete non-running stuff, um, just lectures from really great college professors, instructors, and while I'm running, I bet I gotta look into that. Critical Thinker says, I feel so lethargic today. It might be the weather. I don't know if the weather where you are is like it is here, but here it's a little bit dreary. Definitely napping weather. Martha says, camaraderie is what drew me to the channel, and the live streams are camaraderie on steroids. Yeah, yeah, it's a great place to hang out. I saw that you were talking with Bert, I think, earlier, and so I just love to see that there's like conversations happening in the chat as well. I think that at some point we should probably all have like a Zoom meeting where we could like talk to each other, like actually talk, if people are interested in that. I'll have to figure that out. Maybe that's something that we don't put on like YouTube, but we can all hang out and do that. Eric the Red said there are more new runners now because of the situation. For sure. Yeah, there are. And I think that's great. I love it. I think it's great for the sport. I think people are going to realize that running isn't like the chore it was when they were younger. Because I think everyone has like a bad taste in their mouth from running. Running was always the punishment when you messed up in a sport, that or push ups, remember? So it's like, you know, for people to discover like now, oh, like the shoes are much better now. The clothes are much better now. With GPS watches, you can know what you're doing a lot more. There's other ways to distract yourself and enjoy and help like make like the initial hard parts of acclimating yourself to running more bearable, and then you can get to the good stuff. Like so. I think it's great. Bert says, Kofuzi, you're not a big fan of strength exercises at the gym. Are you doing any minimal workout sessions at home? Squats, lunges, core. I do short 15-minute workouts with Nike Training Club app. As a matter of fact, I am. And so I've cobbled together a short like circuit that I like to do. It takes a couple of minutes at a time. Sometimes I'll do like two circuits of it, and sometimes I'll just once. I try to do at least one circuit of it a day. Some days I'll get two, some days I'll get three. And it's basically all body weight. It's like squats, then single leg lunges, and then the single leg deadlifts, the ones where you balance over and kind of like have to like balance real good. For me, because my balance is so poor, it's more about exercising balance than it is exercising like deadlift muscles. And then after that, I try to do like the single leg pistol squats, that thing, where you it looks to me like the crane maneuver in Karate Kid, that thing. Um, and then I do lateral lunges and then reverse lunges, single leg on each. So I'll put a video together on that because like it's just something that like like the strength exercises, like a lot of the ones that I found like tend to put a lot of ab work in there, and like I need that and it's good, but like I just want like a leg routine. And I figured out a leg routine that I think I like, and it makes my legs really tired, and so like I've been liking it. But yeah. Um, let's see. Sherry Carmack says, think these fall races will happen? Have the first 50 miler in October. I think a 50 miler in October has a good chance of going because there's not going to be a ton of people there. And it'll be in the trails, presumably. Um, so like that might happen. But like the world majors, I don't think that's going to happen. Big city marathons, I don't think those will happen either. Um, yeah, just because it's gonna like just think about the expo, anything with a big expo or a big post race. Like just think about that. That just won't happen. Like if they're not gonna play basketball games, they're not gonna play um, these events like these large races. But like small races, like a small charity run 5K, like in the Lincoln Park Zoo, that's not far from here. Like every Saturday and Sunday, there's some sort of 5K, like run for the zoo, run for the um, nature conservatory or something like that, like a charity fun run, like for MS or something like that. Those I think will happen in the fall. I hope. I hope they do. Jeff Deacon says, what upcoming shoes are I most excited about? I'm excited about the Adazero Pro, and I'm excited about the Saucony, like the Endorphin line, to see what that's all about. So those are some that I'm really excited about. Daniel W says, when I run, the only thing sore are my calves. Is that normal or is there form off? Running 5 miles 3 times per week, plus I added the 3 mile recovery run you suggested last week. That's awesome. So you're doing like 15, so 18 miles a week. That's cool. Only thing sore are your calves. That's interesting. I mean, it could be something that with your form that's doing that. Maybe you're landing too much on your toes or more on your toes than you need to be for your pace. I would say just when you run in a way that feels normal for the speed that you're running and the amount of energy that you have. I think worrying about form when you're doing drills is great. Worrying a lot about form when you're running like throughout the entire run, personally, and I'm not a coach, but like personally, I think that's like not that helpful. I feel like if you even look at like Galen Rupp, look at like Mo Farah, look at some or like look at Elliot, like the way they run when they're running marathon pace versus the way they run when they're jogging is different. They don't run exactly the same at both of those speeds. And even Elliot, the way he runs at the beginning of the, oh maybe him at the beginning of the race and end of the race he looks the same. But like normal human beings, like mortals, the way they run at the beginning of a race is different than the way they run at the end of the race because they're tired. And your body is like optimizing itself for the level of energy it has. It's trying to do well. Now it can get sloppy because you're tired too, but like your body changes to make itself optimal. The body knows how to make itself optimal. So like if you're running and a certain part of your body is a muscle is sore, it it makes it sound like I suspect that maybe you're tweaking things a little too much, and that's what's going on. So I just relax and try not to think about it and see how that goes. Daniel M says, I feel like there are a lot more new runners as the stay in place, shelter in place order started, but I'm seeing fewer now. I think some of them gave up. Maybe, but I think also a lot of it is like runners were getting a lot of flack in the beginning. When the shelter in place orders started happening, like a lot of people were like, those darn runners, they're always running by us, breathing, huffing and puffing on us. So I feel like, we were like a target, much more vocal target for a lot of people. And so like I think a lot of people didn't want to be a part of that. Maybe some of them gave up. Maybe some of them got shin splints and now their legs hurt, so they can't. But I hope to see more out there. I also think that a lot of people are taking it more seriously now. At least that I hope. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're thinking maybe it's not worth the risk, and instead they're doing more um, like workout routines like on Instagram and on YouTube. So maybe that's what they're doing. Mark Trujillo says it's sunny again in Oregon. That's awesome. I think that's like your record, 2 days like in a week, right? Martha says she's from South Cal originally and San Diego and can be rainy in winter and foggy in early summer. June gloom. Oh, okay. So napping weather? Yeah, that could be napping weather for sure. Stevie76 saying hi to my mom. Awesome guys. Um, Martha says, would the gear be all black and gray? It is all black and gray. Well, there's a white t-shirt in there. I got a white t-shirt because white t-shirts show up. It's like per, completely selfish because white t-shirts show up really well when I make videos. Like the way my camera balances everything out, and so I need more white t-shirts, I think. And so I made a white t-shirt. There's also an orange one for the non-elite shirt. It's orange. Let's see. Eric the Red says he takes snow over cold, rainy running. For sure, I'm with you. I'd rather it be 15 degrees and snowy and windy than 40 degrees and raining, even just a little. That's how I feel. W. Fern got 15 miles in. Awesome. Carl Donaldson says, sorry, how do we find merch? I couldn't hear what you said clearly. If you go to the Instagram story, the link is in there. Once we get done here, I'll also post the link to it in a post on YouTube. But I only had time because I fell asleep earlier today um, to get it done for on the Instagram story. But it's like in Teespring /stores /Kofuzi Run Club. But I'll post a link soon, as soon as we get done here. Daniel M said, I started running when he lived in Portland and he loves rainy runs. Yeah, I think that a lot of the Nike gear is really good for rainy Portland running. I've complained to a lot of Nike people that a lot of their like winter stuff seems to be designed for Portland winters by Portland winter or winter Portlanders. That's kind of my take on it. um, let's see. Jen from Was says, is there a merch link? I don't see anything on Etsy. No, yeah. We have to. I'm shifting away from Etsy and I'm shifting towards Teespring, so that way I can have the merch in the YouTube video, like before you get to the comments. And so I'll post a link soon. Sorry about that. Oh, and Anthony's got a link to the store. I think he's trying to post it, but I think it's not letting you post it. That's my guess in the chat. It's not letting you post. Bub Tub said, "Would Asics Nova Blast get you more motivated?" Oh, I hope if that's the holdup, stay tuned. Roadrunner Sports. I just talked to them a couple days ago, and they're definitely going to send me a pair. So hopefully I'll get there soon. Um, Martha says, "This is a foam rolling class now." Well, maybe I guess I'll have to get my foam roller out. Maybe do a live stream while foam rolling. I like that idea. That's pretty funny. We'll do that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Um, let's see. Edmundo Cazara says, hi, Michael. First time here for me. Welcome. Are you going to review the Peg 37? Yes, but my review will probably come a little bit later. I'm gonna like let the initial batch of reviews come out first. I'm gonna give it some time, and then as my like return to Nike stuff happens, I'll review it. But just to kind of give it some space, I won't do it right away, but I'll get there. All right, so what do we got here? Everyday Dad's here. Oh, what's going on, dude? Um, he says with a super chat, you're absolutely a running legend. Keep it up. Thanks so much, man. And it's good to see you. Hope you're doing well in Virginia. Um, everyone, if you guys ask me a lot of GoPro questions here, but go check out the Everyday Dad if you guys aren't already. He has tons of different action camera comparisons and also just regular camera comparisons as well. Um, from the perspective of like a normal person. And so like I relate to his channel so much because like my channel is about running from the perspective not of a coach or a former D1 runner or like an elite athlete, but from like a regular person. And so like I really relate to his content as well. Um, so he's reviewed like the Osmo, GoPro, all the different action cameras, Sony action cameras as well. So like go check that out. But thanks so much, Everyday Dad, for checking in on the live stream, and thanks so much for the super chat. Good to see you. Let's see. Luke NG says, any thoughts on the Infinity React? I think it's a pretty good shoe. If you like the Epic React, I think you're gonna like the Infinity React too. It seems to be a little bit heavier of a shoe. It seems to be a lot wider of a shoe in the base as well, which I think will make a lot of people happy because a lot of the Nike shoes have been getting so narrow lately. So that's definitely something that I think people will enjoy. Um, Blaz Grabnar says foam roll just because other people said it in the chat, and it really is convenient. That's funny. I think that's definitely going to have to be a thing next time. I'm sitting like in a chair facing a window where the light's good and stuff, but I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to find a way to do this live stream while foam rolling. So I'll put some tights on just so that way we don't get some accidental views we don't intend. But we'll figure it out. We'll get the lighting worked out. We'll get it figured out. Let's see. Um, All right. Anthony Kuchera says the classes he teach are more interactive though. It's not just a lecture, so students running in class would be weird. Haha. Yeah, I mean that's how like my class would be as well. Mine is definitely an interact. It's a skills course, so I have to get kids like standing up on their feet, and not kids, young adults or adults up on their feet and like performing. And so yeah, that really wouldn't work to see some of them running. Although I guess like for there a lot of it is watching the other students and providing feedback. Almost kind of very similar to like an acting class would be. So I guess if it's not your turn and you're just listening, you could probably run and participate in the class. Um, Jackie Mai says, is it better to invest in higher end shoes than cheaper ones, like Downshifter versus the Nike Zoom or something? Not a Nike person. Personally, like I think that lots of people have had really good luck in like the middle tier of Nike shoes. There's like the really cheap ones, then there's the middle tier of shoes, and then there's like and those are usually at like the sports, like general sports stores. And then there's the higher end, like the flagship shoes that are also at the general sports stores, but mostly at like running specialty stores and like your Foot Locker, like your shoe stores. Um, I Some people have had good luck with the middle tier, like the Nike Windflow. I think is a good shoe. I've not run in it myself, but I think that it's a good shoe. It's usually like basically like the Pegasus from a year behind. And then there's another shoe from the Nike lineup that I think well, I'm trying to think of what it was. It's not coming to me, but the important point is um, you can do pretty good with that. But my preference would be that people get like the Pegasus or kind of like the flagship line, the main line, but get like last year's version if you're looking to save some money on it. That's what I would prefer because like that's what I understand. I feel like that's where their focus is. Oh, the other thing I was thinking of was like the Legend React, which is like there's the Epic React, there's the Odyssey React, both good running shoes, and then there's a Legend React, which is a little bit cheaper. Like I think people could enjoy running those shoes, and those are real running shoes. They're not fake running shoes. But I'd rather you get like a year-old Epic React than that, or a year-old Odyssey React than that. I just think that um, those cheaper shoes, that middle tier of shoes, their shoes are designed more with price in mind than functionality, whereas the upper end, they're still thinking about price. I'm sure that they're thinking very much about price, but I think they're also thinking a little bit more about like, let's make this a good shoe, and then we'll figure out the pricing. And in the middle tier, it's like, all right, well, if this shoe comes in at this and it has 7 features, this one will have 5, and I don't like that kind of compromise. Um, Let's see. Corey Davis says, "What's the limit of how short your shorts you'll wear?" This limit is 7 inches. You can get it some 5 inch pairs and give them a try. I love 7 inch shorts if I'm gonna run and also like wear them casually. So like Path Projects has a 7 inch short that I love. But for running, my favorite length is 5 inch. So 5 inch shorts is what I like. 3 inch shorts feel really, really short to me. And then for if I'm running in half tights, I like 7 inch half tights. I have a pair of 9 inch half tights and they just feel really long. So yeah. Nate Notification says ran its first half marathon today, 1:53:01. That's amazing. Great work. My first half marathon was 2 hours and 10 minutes. And yeah, so really good work out there. And I remember thinking like, oh, if I just worked a little bit harder, I could have gotten under 2 hours. That was like a big goal of mine for a while after that. So great work. Um, Paul WG says there are podcasts such as things you missed in history class that might interest me. I'm gonna have to go look for some of that stuff like that because like I think that like I've been reading a lot or listening to a lot of running audiobooks lately and I've been really enjoying it. But I think there's like a missed opportunity to like read some like really interesting variety or like get up to speed on a wider variety of things. Um, Kevin Scott says, any major plans for the merch store, more products, or is it just something on the side? Kofuzi branded running gear, etc. Like right now, it's more just for people that are interested in, letting other people know that they watch. Like that's kind of really all it is. The kind of thing that like I'm thinking people will get, and so that when they go for like to a running expo, they could spot the other fans of the channel, that kind of thing and help. It's easier to spot each other out if we're all wearing the same shirt, that kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. I'd love to be able to get like a running shirt made, but as far as I know, there aren't any of the services like Teespring doesn't have it, Printful doesn't have it, like where I could do like a running shirt, like a race type shirt, and or like a singlet. I'd love to be able to do that. Maybe at some point I'll do like small runs, like Ben Barrows did that, where he did a run of his Church of the Sunday long run. Um, Shirt, but then it's like I have to buy it ahead of time. So there's more of an investment. And then as the orders come in, I have to process those orders and then send them out. And so all that stuff gets taken care of for me with Printful or like Etsy and then also with Teespring. But I think to be able to get really the coolest products that I want, I might have to like take on a little bit more of a bigger endeavor. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm waiting to see like a lot of my nieces and nephews are getting a little bit older now. Some of them are college level, some are about to graduate high school, and they might need some, income on the side where I can convince them to do it. So maybe that's what I'm thinking. um, let's see. All right, I think I got to get going soon. I know there's so many other questions and comments here. It's so great to see you guys. But it's probably about almost 3:40 now, so I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Um, Luis Becerra says, "This is my foam roller pillow. It's hilarious from the Teespring store." So that's a great way to kind of end it. I'll post a link to the merch. Please don't feel like you got to buy any of this stuff. I'm putting it out there because a lot of you guys have asked for it, and it also gave me something to kind of like feel like I was being productive to do during this time where I can't work. I'm not. It's not like a money play, Like you don't need to like worry about supporting me or anything like that. But if you guys want to like just show everyone else that you've been enjoying the channel, then I think this is a great way to do it. I'm looking forward to my stuff coming in. So if you want to wait and see, I totally understand that too, to see what like the merch looks like when it comes in. So I won't be offended at all. But I'll post a link to this in a post right after we're done here, but so that you guys can check it out. The foam roller pillow, I think since we talked so much about foam rollers today, is one that I'm really looking forward to seeing what that ends up looking like. That should be a lot of fun. So that's it for today, everybody. Thanks so much for checking in the live stream today. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. on Instagram and 3 p.m. on YouTube. In the meantime, hope you guys have a good run and are staying safe, and I'll see you guys next time.